Let's pick some apples.
So I went apple picking the other day with a few friends of mine as a part of a Shimane AJET event. It's getting towards the end of apple picking season, so the pickings were a little bit slim. So how do you feel after last week, Shane?
I actually feel really good. My legs were sore a little bit, you know, old calf muscles were sore a good solid 3 days after, but you know, doing really good, really good.
I got sick.
Really?
Like I still have a cold.
Ah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I also got a cold because I was sneezing like.
Oh yeah,
days.
I was sneezing like at my house. I feel a lot better now.
Oh yeah.
No, that's for fashion. My barber took a picture and put it on his Instagram.
If there's anyone in
Shimane
Shimane that can pull off a mullet, it's him.
I wouldn't say he's pulling it off, but
He's doing better than probably anybody else could.
It looks good. Dom, you don't have any hair, so who are you to talk? You know what I mean?
When I got home, I decided to make apple pie like I do every year, but this time I challenged myself to do it without really looking at a recipe. Well, I did look at some of the ingredients for pastry, but that was it. I eyeballed almost everything except for the butter and flour amounts. I also didn't even attempt to make puff pastry, and I'm not gonna lie, I kinda like short crust better. I didn't do the best job this time, but fortunately for me, butter and flour almost can't not be delicious together, so no worries. For the filling, I used pretty traditional ingredients, some cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, stuff like that. Plus I also added some maple syrup and Kraken rum because I happened to have some. And that was a good choice, the filling ended up being really good. As for the egg wash, I forgot to buy a pastry brush again this year, so I used this dumb fork dripping technique that I just made up. It was okay, but I definitely ended up with some pieces of baked egg in the pie, but whatever, I'm the only one who's gonna eat this big one. I did make a couple of smaller ones after this, though. So, this really didn't turn out that great. I am not much of a baker, and for some reason it just turned out really dry this time. Also, I didn't really make nearly enough pastry, just because I decided at the last minute to do the bottom and the top crust of the pie, and that ended up being not a great idea. Like, it tastes okay, just texturally it's not the best. It is pretty good if you eat it with some vanilla ice cream, though. Anyway, putting this aside, I think this video is probably going to be titled something like Fall Jet Apple Picking, something like that has Jet in the title. I don't really want to make this a Jet channel, but it also does attract more views than usual. And to be honest, the Jet moniker doesn't really mean that much to me outside of my job affiliation. Like, it's not like I'm thinking about, oh, I'm a Jet all the time. It doesn't really have a lot to do with my actual job, if that makes sense. And like, if anyone who's watching this is about to come to Japan as a Jet, or who has gotten here recently, I just want you to remember that in your everyday life, you're not so much a Jet as you are an ALT or a CIR or whatever. Your Jet affiliation won't really mean that much to you after a certain amount of time. And to be honest, the only times I really remember that I'm a Jet are when we have AJET events. And the apple picking one happens to be one of my favorites. Our local AJET group in Shimane puts on a lot of really great events like this, and I am really, really grateful for them. You know, I don't exactly have family here, and so being able to interact with people from America, or just people who speak English natively, is a much bigger deal than you might realize at first. It's definitely not really something I thought about until I left America. But I guess that is a pretty common theme in life. You don't really realize how much you love something until you don't have it anymore. You know, being able to get together in life with people who know your culture and share your struggles is something that's really, really important, and really, really good for your mental health too. Just the same, it was really nice to see some new faces for once. We've been without new people in this prefecture at least for a long, long time, almost a year and a half. Things finally feel like they're getting a little bit more revitalized. Actually, just the other day I learned we're gonna have a festival in town next month. That's huge! Although I think attendance is capped, so Yeah, I think it really took a toll on everyone in the middle of the pandemic when everything was getting shut down and everything was getting canceled. We couldn't, go socialize in these big events, and those are always really fun. Because, if you're in a small town like me, you get to go around and see your students and coworkers and all of these people and it's just an all-around really fun time. So I'm just happy that things are getting a little bit back to normal, kind of. So I just want to say that if you're someone who's planning to come here to Japan and stay long-term, that keep in mind that you are gonna miss your home country and you are gonna want to interact with people who speak your language. For most people. I know there are some people who don't care at all. Or I don't know, maybe I'm just generalizing. Oh, and if anyone from AJET is watching, shout out to you guys because you make some really fun events. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this week. Not too much content because I didn't have too much else going on. Ramey's back in town next week, so my vlog should start getting a little bit more interesting again. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this week. If you watched until the end, thank you, and I will see you next time.